Welcome to the wild city of Anchorage. Like all urban jungles, this is a city plagued by thieves and petty crime. But here in Anchorage, the culprits aren't human. They are wild animals. This unique Arctic metropolis is home to hundreds of bears and over 2,000 moose. But most surprising are the city's 4 wild wolf packs. More than 30 wolves call Anchorage home. These stealthy predators usually avoid humans, but something is enabling them to survive in the city. These formidable pack predators are finding prey in unlikely sources. And as man and beast increasingly come face to face, can the people of Anchorage find a way to protect the city's deadliest and most iconic wild predators? Alaska. Home to 17 of North America's 20 highest peaks. And more than half the world's glaciers. On the sea ice, in Alaska's frozen north, where temperatures rarely rise above freezing, the ultimate Arctic predator is the polar bear. But in Alaska's seemingly endless tundra and its vast frozen forests, the apex predator is the infamous grey wolf. The wolf is the epitome of Alaskan wildlife. Incredibly tough and utterly deadly, wolves live and hunt in packs of around 6 to 10 animals. And the key to their success is coordinated attacks. But with so many mouths to feed, wolf packs will also scavenge. A newborn deer carcass, almost frozen in the cold, will sustain this pack for only a day or two. A single animal can consume 20 pounds of meat at a single sitting. Wolf packs have a strict hierarchy, with both an alpha male and alpha female. They eat first. The others must patiently await their turn or face discipline. They reassert their dominance using a complex language, communicated via facial expressions and body language. But while only the alpha male and female are allowed to breed, all adults in a pack help care for the pups. These intelligent, social wolf packs may have earned a reputation as the most dangerous predators in the Alaskan wilderness. But as people are encroaching further and further into their territory, wolf packs are also being forced to adapt to the urban jungle. For years, at least 4 highly elusive wolf packs have lived and hunted in the wild city of Anchorage. But as the city spreads further and further into wolf country, the wolves are now getting bolder, and attacks on humans are on the increase. A group was recently targeted whilst jogging with their dog on a trail near one of the city's main roads. The 2 women let their dog off its lead and into the nearby trees. It had no idea the pack of 7 hungry wolves were lurking in the shadows. The wolves surrounded and then began closing in on the dog and the 2 women. Unaware they were being followed, they just kept on running. But to the wolves, the women and dogs were behaving exactly like prey. When the wolves emerged, the startled joggers reacted exactly as they should, shouting to scare off the usually timid wolves. But by now, the hunt was on. Luckily, they had come prepared and were carrying bear spray. The pepper spray forced the wolves back. They stalked the women all the way back to their car, where their dog was brutally attacked before they dragged it to safety. Thankfully, the injured dog narrowly survived, and the pack moved off into the suburbs. But the wolves were still hungry, killing and eating a large pet dog in its yard less than a mile away. But despite the dangers posed by these urban wolf packs, many residents are fighting to protect the wolves that roamed this area long before the city was built. Alaska Zoo provides a permanent home to 5 wild-born wolf pups that would otherwise have been culled by hunters. Watching these wolf pups grow up in captivity, the keepers have seen them develop the same complex social relationships of a wild wolf pack. And by understanding and respecting these hierarchies, they've actually been able to form a bond with these usually feared animals, famed for their notorious howl.
In the wild, usually when you're seeing a pack of wolves, what you're looking at is a family unit. And so a lot of contemporary researchers actually prefer to use the term family unit to describe packs of wolves in the wild.
The family unit here at the zoo have allowed the keepers to join their wolf pack. And right now, they're howling for their alpha human. Keeper Tim Lesher is now even able to enter the enclosure with these wild-born predators.
Safety is first and foremost. You can't treat the wolf as you do a domestic dog, and the more you interact with them, the more you see that. So you need to kind of be on your toes and constantly reminding yourself of that, because you form bonds with them, and so you have a very much a trustful relationship that's built up.
And today, he's going to attempt to take one of the wolves for a walk. For anyone else, just entering the enclosure of these territorial predators could be deadly. But attempting to put a chain around its neck would be virtual suicide.
The wolves see themselves very much as your equal. You can't, for instance, discipline a wolf. It wouldn't go over well if we did anyway.
With head keeper Smitty keeping a watchful eye, slowly but surely, Tim places the chain around the wolf's body. Unbelievably, the wolf lets him do it. First time.
From a young age, it's kind of perpetuated in our culture that the wolf is a villain. You think of Little Red Riding Hood and the Big Bad Wolf, or the Three Little Pigs. You know, it's just, it's kind of ingrained in us, and it's a fallacy.
For safety, Tim's going to attempt to walk the nervous wolf in a secure location away from the public. And as these animals are so territorial, letting a human lead it out of its enclosure is a clear sign of the trust it has in Tim. But this isn't just a walk in the park. Tomorrow is the wolf's 10th birthday. And so the vets need to take a blood sample from each of the wolves to search for any serious genetic disorders that can affect wild wolves at this stage of their life.
Good girl, Rue. That's a good girl.
Having saved this wolf pack from the hunters' rifles and gradually become part of their family, it's hoped they can take tomorrow's blood sample without the use of a tranquilizer gun, which could permanently shatter the trust they've built up with these magnificent wild-born predators. The main threat to wolf numbers in Alaska may be hunting. But there's another deadly threat to the wolves caused by humans. Forest fires destroy wolf habitat and can tear wolf families apart. And as the bush firemen of Anchorage know, spring and summer wildfires are getting more and more common.
April through July, when the snow starts to melt, is definitely when we expect the most wildfires in this local Anchorage, South Central area.
And this crew recently witnessed firsthand the effects of fire on a wolf pack in the mountains outside this wild city.
We responded to a call on the Kenai Peninsula for a 1-acre grass fire. By the time we arrived 3.5 hours later, it was hundreds of acres, maybe 1,000, and it continued to grow exponentially for at least 5 or 6 days while we were there. I believe it got up to 100,000 acres.
It was one of this crew's biggest ever fires, killing thousands of trees and the animals that lived in them. But it would become memorable for another reason.
I think every fire has lots of surprise encounters. In this particular fire was the discovery of a wolf den.
The huge fire had struck just as Alaska's wolf pups were being born. Their usually secret den was uncovered by the crew's attempts to stop the fire by creating a break in the trees.
We had used bulldozers to create fire line for us. Bulldozers are very effective. They create a large break quickly. They are harder on the environment, so we try to be very careful with where we use them. But this particular bulldozer had inadvertently cut through a wolf den, and we didn't know it at the time.
Wolves usually protect their young with their lives, but the scale of this fire had forced them to flee, leaving some pups behind.
The crews were walking by and had heard something. As the pups cried a little bit more, I guess, the crews noticed them, and they were very concerned.
They were concerned, but decided to give the mother a chance to return.
Up here in Alaska, people are not allowed to just pick up wildlife, even if they think something's wrong.
We always want to try to leave the wildlife alone, essentially. Like, if they can take care of themselves, then we're going to allow them to take care of themselves. Over the course of a couple days, we decided that the wolf puppies, their mother was not coming back. There was no animal sign around, no large adult prints. I was a supervisor, so it was my responsibility to make the call either let them be, not worry about, let nature take its course, or to try to figure out a solution to the problem. I chose to talk to the Kenai National Wildlife Refuge.
So they came out, checked out the situation, realized, yes, this is a no-win situation for these cubs.
So they decided that because the mother hadn't been back and they didn't know the condition of the pups, and it was springtime, so the pups were probably very small, that they would send someone in to rescue them.
Entering a wolf den is a specialist job, but this den was in the middle of a forest fire.
Basically, we sent in a fireman into the hole.
The firemen had no idea what to expect, or if the pups were even alive.
There was 6, but one was dead when they found the pack.
He pulled them out one by one. 5 were alive. After they were rescued, they did go to the Alaska Zoo.
And the agency had called us and asked if we'd take them in. Of course, that's one thing the zoo does a lot of, is taking orphans.
This footage shows the pups on the day they arrived at the zoo.
In the beginning, they were so little. They were maybe 2 to 3 weeks old. So they went into our infirmary where there's supplemental heat and they could stay warm, didn't have to regulate their own heat.
The pups were dehydrated, but soon began to recover.
They got moved from the infirmary, which is next door to the facility we're sitting in now, and then they got moved over here, and then they started making trips out into the outside area, not just the den. And we'd have attendants sit with them and work with them and make them very tractable and handleable so we could touch them all over for any cuts or lumps.
Even with the parents gone, the orphan pups were soon behaving like wolves.
The howling is something that is innate, and they just know how to do it. And even when they were so little, they were howling without our cue at all. When the little wolves heard us in the morning preparing their food next door in the infirmary, they would start making noise and howling.
The accidental fire may have destroyed their habitat, but the pups rescued by the fire crew have grown into a strong, healthy wolf pack.
From my personal perspective, I've done this job for 15 years, and there's not necessarily a lot of death, but it's like you're looking at burnt trees, burnt homes. So it was very rewarding to interact with the pups in a positive way to help make a difference in their life. But the most rewarding thing was, like I said, having something alive out after a forest fire.
But having been hand-reared from such a young age, the keepers knew the pups would be unable to ever be released.
Because wolf packs are generally family groups, to release a litter of wolves, juveniles all the same age, without any real leadership or knowledge of the area and how to hunt, I think it would be really challenging.
After 8 weeks at the zoo, the pups were growing fast. But the zoo's existing wolf enclosure only had space for one more animal. So knowing the importance of family to a wolf's happiness, luckily, the zoo managed to relocate the entire wolf pack to a permanent home at another zoo. Although the hot, dry Alaskan summers result in these deadly forest fires, this state also has 3,000 rivers and over 3 million lakes. And it was recently discovered that these waters provide a surprising food source for the wolf packs of Anchorage. These opportunistic animals have now been found to hunt the salmon in the city's rivers. And it isn't just the urban wolf packs. Right across Alaska, in the height of the salmon run, wolves are choosing fish over caribou. Perhaps due to the lack of energy needed to catch fish when there are so many. And with millions of salmon in the rivers that run through Anchorage, It's bringing the wolves into the city. This morning, in the wild city of Anchorage, the vets at Alaska Zoo want to draw blood from their pack of wild-born wolves that were brought in from the wild 10 years ago. To keep the wolves still enough, this operation requires sedation.
Sedation comes with its own risks, so we only do it if there's a reason. These guys, some of them have been acting a little off, so it's been a couple years since we've done just routine bloods on them, so we're gonna do that today.
The wolves may allow certain keepers into their territory, but for visiting vet Riley Wilson to take the blood samples, the wolves must be sedated.
It accomplishes two things. It makes it safer for us and less stressful for them.
So when we're going and giving them their initial injection, you know, it's all about distracting them so they don't even know they're getting the injection. If they felt the injection, then they will turn into what most people would think is a wild wolf. So Riley will distract them from outside, and then I will be in there petting them, sort of distracting them with my hands up front, and I'll just reach around in the back and give them the injection in their hindquarters. That's how it's supposed to go. Okay, you got a time on that? We'll sedate them all, one after another, and then we'll go, whoever's the sleepiest, that's the one we'll go in with. Do his physical, and then by the time he's done, hopefully the next one will be ready to go.
To avoid the risks associated with a full anesthetic, Shannon and Riley are only using a mild sedative.
Okay. Their comfort level with us is really high, so that the risk is small, and we want to maintain that really positive relationship with them without putting them through any stressful thing, and then they would become less trusting.
With all the sedations administered, now it's a waiting game.
For them to go to sleep, it takes about 5 minutes for that to happen, and then we'll go in.
Surprisingly, it's Denali, the alpha male, that falls asleep first. But ensuring the sedative has actually worked can be tricky.
Sometimes, even when they look like they're sleeping, they can jump up, and so we're going to be watching for that.
Their canine teeth are actually about the same size as a brown bear teeth, and their bite is twice as strong as a dog, so their ability to hurt you is there.
Denali is still conscious, but appears sleepy enough to risk taking the blood sample.
I'll be watching the animal while he's doing the physical and while he's drawing blood.
Wild-born wolves usually have a life expectancy of just 7 years. But today is these wolves' 10th birthday. Riley hopes these blood samples will rule out the many conditions that affect wild wolves. After a further physical examination, the sedative is then reversed, and the wolves are left to wake up. Once all fully recovered, the wolves are then released back into their enclosure. Where these wild-born wolves are soon re-establishing their territory. They've spent most of their lives in captivity, but these iconic animals have retained their unique natural instincts thanks to the people of this wild city.